And once the crew deems that the spacecraft is safe, then our recovery vessel Shannon can begin to approach and begin the recovery process. So we are now eagerly waiting on recovery of our Dragon spacecraft with the AX-4 crew. Dragon has already autonomously completed several steps to save itself following splashdown.
So for those of you just joining us, the return of AX-4 has gone smoothly so far, and we just got great confirmation the crew has splashed down. So Dragon successfully re-entered the Earth's atmosphere, followed by deployment of its parachutes to slow the spacecraft down to a gentle 15 miles per hour. And at that point, they successfully splashed down in the Pacific Ocean at 2:31 a.m. Pacific time, off the coast of Southern California. So at this point, like you mentioned, Jesse, we are just waiting for Dragon's recovery from Shannon.
Yeah, upon detection of landing, Dragon automatically releases the main parachutes to prevent wind from pulling the spacecraft. Dragon then automatically saves any pyrotechnics still present on the vehicle and may automatically perform additional minor system reconfigurations. The astronauts remain seated and in their suits at this point, but the onboard air conditioning keeps temperatures in check inside the spacecraft, and the communication systems on board remain powered so the crew can continue to communicate.
And as we're watching, SpaceX has 2 fast boats in the recovery fleet, which move very quickly to get to the splashdown point. And those are being followed by Shannon, the main recovery vessel, which will move into position upwind of the spacecraft. The 2 fast boats have very specific roles here in these operations. The first fast boat makes initial contact and is focused on immediate safety inspection of the vehicle, checking for vehicle integrity and any presence of hypergolic propellant vapors. This ensures that it's safe for Shannon to approach the Dragon spacecraft. Now, once Dragon is cleared for full approach, the team begins rigging the spacecraft for water recovery by the recovery ship. The second fast boat is responsible for parachute recovery and also serves a redundant boat to the first. So we'll see a team member, on a jet ski helping to gather up the now detached parachutes that you mentioned came off, Jesse.
Yeah, and it'll take a little over 10 minutes for the recovery crew to complete their safety checks. Then once they're complete, the team will begin preparing Dragon to be lifted into the recovery vessel. As part of the preparation for this lift, one member of the recovery team will climb on top of the spacecraft so that they can attach Dragon's hoist rings and connect the lifting lines. Now, it will take us less than an hour to raise Dragon to the recovery boat and remove the crew from the spacecraft. And then after medical checkouts, the crew will return to shore by helicopter and then be flown back to Houston.
That's right. And each of these next steps are entirely dependent on the status of the crew. Axiom Space's
Dragon SpaceX, we have pulled go for recovery personnel approach. Expect fast boats alongside in 1 minute.
Dragon copies. We'll be waiting.
And with that call from Core to Commander Peggy Whitson, you can see now the fast boat making the 2 fast boats making an approach to the Dragon that you see in the middle of your screen with that flashing green beacon. Now, as we mentioned, Axiom Space's chief medical officer is on the main recovery ship Shannon and is ready to put eyes on this crew for the first time since they departed quarantine together. And our medical teams will be with them every step of the way home.
It is nighttime, so we do have this infrared camera to help us see a little bit more clearly. That's the Dragon spacecraft in the middle of your screen there.
These SpaceX fast boats are now making initial contact with the Dragon spacecraft. Excuse me.
You can also see the red and green lights on Dragon, just similar to starboard and port on a ship. We have that for nights like this where it's a little bit harder to see the orientation of the vehicle, so those red and green lights help us understand which side of the vehicle and orientation that we are approaching. And it does look like they are pulling a main chute out of the water there. Again, those detach immediately as soon as the spacecraft splashes down. This helps prevent the wind from dragging the spacecraft after it's splashed down and helps keep the crew safe. But we do recover those main parachutes, keep them out of the water.
Exactly. And as we just discussed, each of these fast boats has a very specific role that they play. That is all part of, again, the ground operations that support the retrieval and recovery of the spacecraft, as well as the X4 crew. So all of these are part of the ground training that's required in order to pull off those operations safely and successfully. So even though we're having, splashdown at night, right, we're able to ensure that we're executing smoothly, but executing successfully.